Hey friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com, and today's video is going to be about a few things. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who's reached out to me and private messaged me or on YouTube or whatever for the prayers. I appreciate that. My husband and I both appreciate that, and if you could continue them, we'd really appreciate that. A couple of weeks ago, I did a run through of the 1985 version of the Medieval Scapini Tarot, and it was out benefit of reading the book. I just did like a flip through with comments, and 78 Puertas. I think his name is Jorge. I'm not positive, but but I do want to thank 78 Puertas for making me aware that the book was available at, I forget the name of the bookstore, A-Books maybe? At any rate, it turns out that it was a deck and book set, and now this one is from 2004, so it's 20 years older, or 19 years older than the version I have. So one of the things I think I might do is do a little bit of a comparison between the 85 version and the 2004 version, just to see if there's any differences, because at the time that I did the video I wasn't sure. And then another package arrived today, which looks fun. I saw someone posting a few pictures of Mystical Medleys on I think Instagram a few days ago. And it's been in my queue for probably 2 years. I think, what year did it come out? The package does not say, but I think it's been around for a few years. And I've had it in my queue for a while, maybe a year, something like that. So I just bit the bullet and bought it. So we're going to take a look at this. Now there's probably been a dozen or more videos of Mystical Medleys by now, but some of you may not have seen any of the videos, so I thought it might be fun to do it. Break the pace. Let me flip the camera. Okay, so this isn't going to be a full side-by-side. I'm just going to do a few cards just to see how the cardstock compares and to see if, the images are different or not. Now you can see from the 2005 packaging, we have this, 90s, early 2000s kind of wasteful packaging. I think is wasteful packaging. So we have the deck. The boxes are the same sizes. And then we have a book. And it came with like a tarot spread. Which may or may not interest some of you. And it looks like it's, oh yeah, it looks like it's the Celtic Cross, or a version of the Celtic Cross spread. So ancient 10-card tarot spread is how it's defined. Okie doke. So let me pause and get a few cards to compare, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is going to be a case where if I'm not careful, I'm going to end up confusing them. So I'm going to have to be careful. They feel slightly different, but that could be in part because this deck is already over 30 years old, this original one I have. But there does seem to be a slight different coloring to the backs, which might be part of the aging process, or it might actually be because they changed the color. So I don't know. But the backs are pretty similar. in color, just not exact. And let's see. Well, there's much more of a gloss on the 2004 version than there is on the original. So I'm going to guess that the slickness I feel is due to it being, more laminated. But the lamination doesn't bother me. I know it bothers a lot of people. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know if 2005 is the most recent version of this deck. I don't know. But it just happens to be the most recent version of this deck that I have. Let's see, as far as details go, they're very similar. This one seems to be a little more well-defined in the face. Pretty close. Let's just look at a few cards. In person, the red of the Magician is a little brighter. And the color of the background is a little different also. Here we have more, we have it a little more well-defined than in the original. I don't know. I kind of like the reprint. I know you're not supposed to say those things, but if you have the 2005 version, I don't think you have been shortchanged. I think it's fine. But do bear in mind that it has a glossier look and feel, and the color might just be a little crisper, a little darker. So that's that. Now let's take a look at the book. And I want to point out that despite this being a book set, it still came with a little white book, which I think is interesting. Okay, so this is the book. Commentary on the Scapini Tarot. I just want to quickly check a few things. I know when I was looking at the Knight of Cups, it reminded me of Rasputin, or I thought I knew it was from, yep, here it is, a bearded monk said to be Rasputin. So I think this book will be very insightful accompaniment to the deck, and will give details about what you're looking at. And I for sure will peruse if I don't absolutely sit down and read it from cover to cover, to give me new appreciation for the deck. Okay, now this one, Mystical Medleys, is about probably as far from historic tarot decks as we could get. And I don't typically like cute decks. I don't buy them, and I don't like them, in general. And so this is kind of cute-ish, but, having grown up with cartoons that looked a lot like this when I was a kid, there's a sort of nostalgic thing about this deck as far as I'm concerned. It reminds me of my childhood. So even though I know these are freshly drawn based on the cartoons I'm referencing, I just thought maybe I would enjoy having it in my collection. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to pull them out, and I will do a review of it. Okay, so I'm seeing this for the very first time like you are. Oh, cool. Wow, that's different. Oh, it's got a very satisfying box. A box within a box. Wow. Cool. Ah, okay. Not too much waste. Nice. Very cute. And this comes with a book. Wow. A hardcover book. And I will be sure to read it. Let's see the backs. Let me see the date. I didn't notice a date on the cover. And the date looks like 2021 by Gary Hall. Okay, so it's only from last year. I thought it was older because I've seen it floating around for a while. Now the pictures that I saw, the cards themselves looked aged. Oh, okay, these do look a little aged, if you can see what I mean. Here are the backs. Let's check it out. It's thick. It's a thick deck. Compared to the Scapini, it's a little thicker than the box of Scapini. So we have all the ingredients that we traditionally see with the full card, with the addition of a pyramid head. But we have like a Pinocchio looking, ears and hat. We have the satchel, and we have the dog, and we have the cliff. The cards feel cardboardy. I don't particularly like the cardstock. And I'm not real particular about cardstock, but I don't tend to like it when it feels like cardboard. But I do like the images. Let's see. Here's the magician. And he's got the 4 suits represented in this particular image. So it appears as though we have a nod to the Waite Coleman Smith collaboration with the the tower, the columns. So the magician and, in this case, the Hierophant both have an eye for a face. Now, it's interesting, I think in the book written by, or the description written by Waite, he references a snake in between the figures, of the Lover's card, but it's not where it is in the deck itself. Let me pull the card and let me see. But in this instance, the artist decided to put the snake in between the 2 figures. Let me pull the card. Yes, okay. So this deck is based on the Blue Lily back deck from 1909. And I believe it's as true a copy of the original 1909 as one could have. But it wouldn't have mattered because I think all the versions, of course, of the Rider-Waite-Smith are relatively the same, where we see the snake going up the side of the tree as opposed to in the center in front of the mountain, as I believe it was described by Waite. But it's not what Pamela Coleman Smith did, right? So this version has the snake in the center, which I think is interesting. Neither here nor there. So I'm just checking to see if any of the backs have a worn look to them. The cards, you know, they have a little bit of, you know, they make it look worn, you know, which I kind of like. I kind of like it, the way it looks. Look at that hermit. It's kind of like a pumpkin head wheel of fortune. He's got a snake too. I do have the windows open because it's a beautiful day, so if you hear voices, that's where they're coming from. Oh, I don't remember seeing Temperance. Ah, there she is. Ah, yeah. So we have a wolf and a dog in the moon. Gosh, I just wish whoever published this, who's the publishing house, Sterling Ethos, New York. Gosh, I just wish they would have splurged for better quality cardstock. I think I paid under $25 currently on Amazon for this. So if you are interested in it, you can get it for under $25 on Amazon. I think it's typically more expensive. Okay, so we're moving into the pip cards. Ooh. It kind of reminds me of Fantasia. So if you are familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith, you should have not too much trouble. Oh, that was clever for the Five of Wands, all those hands. That's very clever. And this spider only has 5 instead of 8. And if you're old like me, or old like I am, and you remember with fondness the style of cartooning, you probably would like it. I'm happy to have it in my collection. I don't know if I'll use it because I don't think the cardstock will hold up, but I do like the way it looks. I might use it on special occasions, you know, for fun, for myself. I think probably it delivers witty readings. I would expect that. I think some of the readings would be witty. Now that's a clever King of Wands. Okay, the Suit of Cups, kind of like the Holy Ghost. There's that snake again. So none of the backs look aged. None that I've flipped over anyway. It reminds me of my eldest granddaughter. I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah. I do like the way it looks. I sure do like the way it looks. I mean, if I were doing a reading that wasn't, you know, life or death kind of reading, but just like lighthearted or, you know, I would use it. In fact, maybe tomorrow I'll do a reading using this deck, just to, you know, on video, just to see what it yields, because I think it would be witty. Guy looks like, I'm going to win this game and you're going to like it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So in a couple of days, look for my next video. I will do a reading using this deck just to see what kind of messages we get. There's the pyramid we saw in the Fool. I think it was the Fool, the very first card. Yeah, the pyramid face. So clearly it is based on the Waite Coleman Smith deck, and with the old-time cartoon feel to it. So I'm happy. Oh, happy squirrel and sad squirrel. Okay. Maybe these could be used as the querent card or the sitter's cards or whatever you want to use them for. I know there's references that I've read about Homer Simpson, I think, with the happy squirrel and this, you know, so doing a tarot reading on The Simpsons. Some of you probably know it better than I. I just don't even really remember. I don't remember a lot of things. But if you could just jot that down below, that would be great. You know, there's definitely lots of references in other sources about happy squirrel. So I think that's kind of interesting. So you see this is a pretty thick deck. If I compare it to the 1909 version of the Rider-Waite-Smith. Let's see how it compares. You see, it's a lot thicker. It's thicker by at least 1.5 suits. So friends, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and until next time, peace and stay well.